Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers to the drawing on August 4th, 2018. If you'd like to play my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. I have 7 strategies with my game, Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to demonstrate on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 5, 22, 32, 38, and 58. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I'll transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I'll do the same thing with the orange area, the green, the blue, and the purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So how this works is there's 69 white ball numbers total, okay? So I divided them among 5 colors, which equals 13.8, okay? So my goal is to get as close to 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible. Okay, so for this drawing here, I have 14 red numbers, 13 orange, 14 green, 10 blue, and 18 purple. And the number of colors change with every single drawing. Okay, so over here to the right, this 251. This tells me how many drawings I kept track of so far, how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And these are the color code drawings, okay? So out of this 251 drawings, 131 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. 87 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 24 drawings have come up a 2-color combination. And only 9 times out of 251 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this number 3 right here in the middle, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there was 2 purple numbers, 2 red, and a blue for 3 colors total. Okay, so how I use this game is I try to correctly guess how many colors will be coming up in the next drawing. And more than half the time, it does come up a 3-color combination. Okay, so the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers. Okay, so again, there's 69 white ball numbers total. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. Okay, so for me, I just think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, so to help me out with that, I'm going to turn to how all 5 colors hardly ever come up together. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so when I look at this, my pick is that no purple numbers are going to be coming up. Okay, so we're all going to look at this a little bit differently. So you may pick something like, I don't think any orange will be coming up or any blue, but for me, again, I don't think any purple numbers are going to come up. Okay, so it's just a gut feeling. And so I'm going to eliminate all the purple numbers off of the game card here. Okay, so to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no purple numbers to it. Okay, so you can read underneath color code, no purple numbers. Okay, so when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm buying a Powerball ticket, which includes the Power Play for $3. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these purple numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these purple numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers, okay? And how this works is up at the very top is the master for each individual number, okay? And over here to the right are the numbers that just came up in the drawing. Again, it was the 5, 22, 32, 38, and 58, okay? So that turns out to be a 4-group combination, okay? So I'm going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so what you're going to see is that I divided the 69 numbers into 7 groups, okay? So group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9, okay? This is the only group with 9 numbers, and then the other 6 groups have 10 numbers. So the second group is 10 through 19, and then it's the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total, okay? So there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so again, the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers. Okay, so how I use this is that this big square right here, this is good for 5 drawings. Okay, and the reason why I break it down into 5 is for a couple reasons. One is when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings for this certain group of numbers, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings or vice versa, okay? So again, the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that no 20 numbers are going to be coming up, okay? And the reason why, and again, we're all going to look at this a little bit differently, but the reason why is because you can see that the 20s have been really, really hot for the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 drawings here. So I just think that it's kind of time to cool off a little bit. Okay, so again, I don't think any 20 numbers are going to be coming up. So I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to blow this back up a little bit. Okay, so there's a couple ways that you can use this. One is you could highlight a certain number, like you could highlight this 5 right here and go down through and see what colors haven't come up, okay? Another way that you could use this is you could try to guess how many groups will actually be hit, okay? So this last group, there was 4. So 5 was in a group, 22 was in its own group, 32 is in its group, 38 and 32 are in the same group, and 58, so that's why there's 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, okay? So usually it's a 4 or a 3 that comes up, okay? Every once in a while, a 5 will pop up, and every once in a blue moon, a 2 will pop up, okay? So I've never seen a 1 where it's like all 60 numbers have come up, okay? So here's a 2 right here, and you can see that it was the 22 and 23 came up, which is in one group, and then the 62, 63, and 66 is all in another group for 2 groups total. Okay, so again, the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers, and I'm going to guess that no 20 numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to go back to the game card. I'm going to scroll to the right, and this is what the game card looks like so far with no purple numbers from the color code, and now no 20 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so if I'm correct with my guesses and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these colored numbers still left on the game card. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I took all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different groups, okay? And I put colors to these groups, okay? So when the 5 white winning Powerballs come up, I record where they land within these groups down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage, and again, the 5 white winning numbers were the 5, 22, 32, 38, and 58. Okay, so you can see that there's no numbers here, no winning numbers in the red area. So down here I put a 0. Okay, over here in the blue, you can see that there was a 3. Okay, and that stands for the 5, the 22, and the 32. Okay, and then there's one number here in the orange, okay, and that was the 58, which is right here, okay, and then there was one last one in the green, and that was the 38 right here, okay. So the strategy is try to correctly guess where the zeros are going to pop up, okay. So if I could have correctly guessed that none of these red numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and really gave myself a much better chance at picking the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I'm going to make a pick right now. Okay, my first pick, well, I should tell you that there's 15 of these option cards first. Okay, so here's option card number 1, and you can see where the red numbers are, how I broke out the red numbers. And then option card number 2, you can see where the red numbers are for this group. Okay. And then the red numbers for 3 and 4. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards because I want as many options as possible to correctly guess where that 0 is going to pop up. Okay, so my first pick here is I don't think any red numbers are going to come up here on this option card number 4. Okay, I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay. And if that happens, then that means that none of these red numbers will be coming up in the drawing, okay? And that's what I think. So I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to scroll to the right. And you can read underneath, Group 1, option card number 4, no red numbers, and you can see that there's no red numbers here anymore, okay? Which matches this option card number 4, where there's no red numbers. Okay, so again, we're all going to look at this a little bit differently, but the last 20 drawings, one of these red numbers have come up, okay, and I just think that it's due to miss. So again, I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so my next pick is option card number 6, no green numbers. Okay, so here's what option card number 6 looks like. Okay, and here for the green, 19 drawings in a row, one of these green numbers have come up, and I just think that it's due to miss. So I don't believe that any of these green numbers will be coming up, so I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no green numbers from option card number 6. Okay, so you can see that all those green numbers are gone now. Okay, so again, I don't think they're going to come up, so I want to get rid of them. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Group 1 for another pick. And my next pick is going to be option card number 10, no orange numbers. Okay, so there's 7, option card number 8, option card number 9, and here's 10. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one, and again, we're all going to look at this a little bit differently, is because this had 18 drawings in a row, okay? And then it missed, and now it's up to 2, and now I just think it's going to miss because this had a long run. I think that this is going to be a short run. Okay, so again, I think there's going to be a 0 here, okay? Which means I don't believe that any of these orange numbers will be coming up in the next drawing. So again, I want to get rid of them. And I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so if you look at this pattern here, okay, as I go back to the game card, I'm going to scroll to the right. And you can see that this pattern is taken off the board here, okay? So I'm going to go back to Group 1 for one last pick. And that's option card number 14, no green numbers. Okay, so here's option card 14, okay? And the reason why I'm picking this one is I think that this is going to be a 1, okay? Because there's going to be a 0 here, okay? That's what I think is going to happen, okay? We'll see. And again, I don't believe that any of these green numbers are going to be coming up, so I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so it's all the same pattern of the 1, 12, 17, 28 for all 4 squares here. Okay, like so the 16 and the 32 is going to go. Okay, and I believe that's in the 17 here. So I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so you can see that the 16, 32, and 17 are gone. Okay, so that's it for group 1. That's all I feel comfortable picking. So I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's 15 of these option cards here. Okay, so I'll get to option card number 1. And you can see that there's 8 groups, 8 color groups here. Okay, so kind of works the same way. Down here in the stats, this is for the red, blue, orange, green areas, purple, brown, gray, and yellow. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage. And again, the 5 white winning numbers were the 5, 22, 32, 38, and 58. Okay, so you can see that the 5 was purple, the 22 was brown, the 32 was yellow, the 58 was blue, and the 38 was brown. Okay, so I got a blue, purple, 2 brown, and a yellow. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see the last one here was blue, 1 purple, 2 brown, and 1 yellow for 4 groups total. So I got 4 over here. And the reason why it's green is because the majority of the numbers of the 5 numbers were over here to the right side. Okay, so you can see that the purple, brown, and yellow came up on this side. So again, the majority is over here to the right, so I colored this green. Okay, so again, I have 8 colors, 8 colored groups: red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, and yellow. Okay, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, so I know that 3 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this last drawing, you can see that I never called the red, so there was no winning numbers here in the red area. So as I go down through, you can see that there was a 0 right here. Okay, so the next one's going to be right here. Okay, so for my picks here, again, there's 15 of these option cards, but I'm only going to pick one of them. And that's option card number 4, no yellow numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the yellow. And how this works is why some of these are colored blue and some are red is because I'm always looking for a majority of things. Okay, so here in this this first square for the yellow, you can see that there was 3 zeros. Okay, and when that happens, the majority is misses, so I colored the background blue for cold. The next one down, you can see that all 5 of them were hits. So when the majority is hits, I colored the background red for hot. Okay, so as I go down through, I can see what's been hot and what's been cold. Okay, so since the lottery is so random, I know that nothing can stay cold forever, and I know that nothing can stay hot forever. Okay, so when I see something that's been really hot like this, well, I know eventually it's going to turn cold. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. And I think it's going to happen right here. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so if that happens, that means I don't believe that any of these yellow numbers will be coming up. Okay, so that's what I think. So I'm going to get rid of these yellow numbers through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down, and then you can read underneath group 2, option card number 4, no yellow numbers. Okay, and you can see that there's no yellow numbers here anymore. Okay, so if I'm correct with my picks, and the key word here is if I'm correct with my picks and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these colored numbers still left on the game card. Okay, so I'm all done picking what I think is going to miss. Okay, so again, I started off with 69 white ball numbers, and now I'm down to 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers now. Okay, so again, if I'm correct with my pick, I get a much better shot at winning some kind of prize if the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these 6 numbers still left on the game card. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so how this works is over here, this 295. This tells me how many drawings I kept track of so far. And this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, and out of this 295 drawings, 150 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 145 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so how this works is I like to keep track of every 5 drawings, okay, to show me a majority. In this last 5, all drawings went to evens, 5 drawings to 0. Okay, before that it was odds, 5 drawings to 0. And then odds, odds, evens, evens. Okay, so since there's been 5 drawings in a row where it's been even numbers, I'm going to guess that more odd numbers are going to come up than even numbers in this next drawing. Okay, so when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to be at least 3 odd numbers out of the 5 that I pick. Okay, so the next one is high and low. You can see that the high numbers are here in the red. The low numbers are here in the blue. Okay, so it's been 145 drawings for majority to the high side and 150 drawings to the majority to the low side. Okay, and over here I got left and right. It's been 147 to the left side and 148 to the right side. Okay, and then this last one that I have is red and blue, and red has the majority, 171 drawings to 123 drawings to the blue side. Okay, so for this drawing here, I think there's going to be more blue numbers than red numbers. Okay, so when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want at least 3 of those numbers in this blue area. Okay, so one last thing that I have is for the Powerball itself. If you don't know about the Powerball lottery, there's 69 white ball numbers and there's 26 red ball numbers. So you got to get 5 correct numbers out of the 69 white balls and 1 correct out of the red balls. Okay, so if you get all 6 numbers correct, then you win the jackpot, and that's $203 million for this drawing. Okay, so what I have here is a guess on how to correctly guess the red ball, the Powerball. Okay, so in this column here, if you see a blue number, then that means it's low, 1 to 13. So what I did is I took the 26 red numbers and just divided it into 2. Okay, so again, if you see a blue number, then that means it's low, 1 to 13. And if you see a high number, that means it's red, 14 to 26. Okay, and over in this column, if you see a red number, then that means it's odds. If you see a blue number, then that means it's evens. Okay, so the reason why I do this is because now I just get to look at the colors. Okay, so I'm a big fan of that. And I think that this is going to be a red number right here. Okay, and I think that this is going to be blue right here. Okay, so I think the Powerball number will be a high even number. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card here. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to scroll to the left, Okay, so you can see underneath 50-50 picks. And again, I think more odd numbers are going to come up than even, and I think there's going to be more to that blue area than the red area. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from group 2. Okay, so here's group 2 again, and again I have 15 of these option cards here. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that there's 15 red areas, 15 blue areas, 15 orange, and so on. Okay, so I like to keep track of that, and I call that the group 2 overview. And I'm going to go to that right now. Okay, so this will tell me out of the 15 option cards, and why I made it 15 and not 16 is because I'm always looking to see a majority. Okay, so having 15 will show me some kind of majority. Okay, so here you can see in the red areas in the last drawing there was 15 hits. Up here on the left side stands for hits, and over on the right side stands for misses. Okay, so in the last drawing, out of all 15 option cards, 8 option cards had a winning Powerball number on it, and 7 option cards had no winning Powerball number on it. Okay, so that's the difference between the hits and the misses. Okay, so I'm always looking for the majority. So the 8 is number 8 will give me the magic number here. Okay, that will tell me what the majority is. Okay, so there was 8 hits in the option card for the red area. Okay, so when that happens, I color the background red for hot, and if there's 8 or more misses, then I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so now it just kind of gives me a way to look at the colors again. Okay, so now I'm looking for hits, so I think that this is going to stay red here. And I think there's going to be lots of hits among those red areas of option card number 1. Okay, so as I go back to things here, I'm going to scroll down. Okay, so I think there's going to be lots of hits in the red areas of group 2. So what that means is as I go back to group 2 here, all I'm looking at is the red areas. Okay, so option card number 1, here's the red area. Okay, and I just want to see what's left on the game card in that red area. And the only thing that's left is the 49. So I wrote that down over here. So this is option card number 1. Now this is option card number 2. Okay, so as I scroll over to number 2 here, okay, you can see that the 3, 4, and 7 are the only things left on the game card. So I wrote those down, 3, 4, and 7. Okay, so again, I did that with all 15 option cards. Okay, and these are the numbers that I came up with. Okay, so I'm off to the last strategy. Strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right, and the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 3, 7, 18, 31, and 49. Okay, so with this combination of numbers, this is going to give me 10 hits, 5 misses among those 15 option cards. Okay, so again, here's the 15 option cards, and you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then the zeros, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and this 4, I don't think it's going to come up. So there's the 5th miss right there. Okay, so 10 hits, 5 misses. Okay, so as I go back to the group 2 overview, again, I think it's going to look like this here. 10 and a 5. Just like that. Okay, so that's what I hope is going to happen. Okay, so as I go back to it, again, so with the 50-50 picks, I thought there was going to be more odd numbers than even numbers. So you can see that the 3, 7, 31, and 49 will make that happen for me. Okay, so I also thought there was going to be more numbers in this blue area. You can see that the 7, 31, and 49 will make that happen for me as well. Okay, so that's how I use my game. Okay, now we're all going to look at this game a little bit differently, so we're all going to come up with different results. Okay, but for me, I'm going to go with the 3, 7, 18, 31, and 49. Okay, so again, if you're interested in playing my game, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Okay, I charge $10 a month, and I'll send a link of my Google Sheets to you. Okay, and the $10 is considered a maintenance fee because I always have to update this after every single drawing. Okay, so that's my game. I appreciate you watching. Okay. If you like the content of my channel, then please subscribe. And as always, I want to wish you the very best of luck with your picks.